Yo, check it out. This is the Music Misfit show, and we're at the Lending Room in Leeds tonight, about to give the Undercover Hippy an interview before he gets on and rocks the stage.
So I'm the Undercover Hippy, and this is the Music Misfits show. Yeah, it's been going really good. This is only the first week, but we've already had 2 sold-out shows in Norwich and Manchester. All the shows have been really vibey and really good. So the new album, Poor Little England, that comes out on the 7th of April. We released a single last week that was Greed. And that's been getting a really good reception. Looking forward to actually having the album out and everything being finished, because it's been a long old slog. This album's been in the making for a very long time. It's been, I think, 7 years now since the last album came out. And it was actually set for release in 2020. And we had some of the tracks recorded, and we'd scheduled in when we were going to record the next bunch of tracks, and then COVID happened, and obviously everything got postponed, and all the touring got postponed, and I kind of just got out of the swing of it, really. And then it wasn't until last year, when once touring had kind of got re-established, and then I thought, okay, I really need to crack on and get this album finished. We recorded it in a couple of different studios. And a few different engineers, because it was kind of spread over a period, different musicians on different songs, but hopefully it still has like a coherent feel and sound. It's kind of almost like a mixture of the previous 2 albums. So the last album, Truth and Fiction, was very much all kind of reggae bangers and not necessarily just reggae, but it didn't really have any of the acoustic flavour that Monkey Suit had, for example. Whereas I tried to get more of a balance on this album. So there's a few songs that are acoustic guitar. There's a song with like string section and more kind of folky influences. But then there's also big reggae dancey numbers. The last track, Breathe, is quite different to the stuff that I've written on the previous album. It's hard to describe, but that's the one with the string section on it. So you have to have a listen to that and see what you think. There's positives and negatives that I could point to. Like Monkey Suit, everything was very improvised and haphazard. My band was just made up of whoever wanted to join my band. So it was a kind of mishmash of instruments, which worked, and it created a really interesting sound on that Monkey Suit, with the congas and the fiddle and the organ, and it was kind of like a slightly unusual combination of instruments, because they were just the people that expressed an interest in playing with me. And then on Truth and Fiction, I kind of stripped everything back, because it just became unsustainable to tour with that many musicians when we weren't making any money and no one was getting paid, and it was just became difficult. And musically, I've definitely developed loads as a musician since then, largely from learning from the musicians that I play with, who a lot of them were more professional, let's say, than me. Maybe they'd been to music college or they'd played in other bands, and whereas I just had taught myself and had just been jamming around campfires and just happened to have written lots of songs. That's Greed, which is the single that's just come out, and I decided it would be good on that. It's about a few things, but it's about the COVID pandemic and the handling of the pandemic by the Conservative government, and the corruption and the money that went missing. And so I decided it would be good to have a conversation on that, between someone phoning up Boris Johnson, asking him where all the money's gone, and him then responding. So I spent a couple of weeks trying to learn how to do a Boris Johnson voice with my housemate out in the back garden, just making lots of Boris noises at the top of our voices. So yeah, it's a bit fun. Yeah.
Great. Can we get a sample?
Well, let's see. Okay. Well, the line from the record is. Hold on there a minute. I think that's not exactly fair, is it? There you go.
Fantastic.
I don't know. I'd say it's fairly similar. There's one track on there that's quite a fast double time flow that I wanted to challenge myself and write something with like some double time. Other than that, it's definitely a kind of typical Undercover Hippy flavor in terms of the vocals and the vocal delivery. I don't know. I think the last track is, that bringing back those kind of acoustic flavors. I'm not sure what's going to surprise people. I mean, I think some of my fans might be surprised by the fact that I'm not a COVID conspiracy theorist, because lots of them are. So I might lose some fans there. Yeah, I'm not sure. Because I didn't really get into rapping as rapping, like, I only discovered years later that most people know the BPMs of the different genres of music, and they're like, yeah, I got some bars for this style and I've got some bars for this style. And when I was working with young MCs, I realized like I was totally ill-equipped, because all of the particular BPMs that they wanted to rap at, I didn't have any lyrics that fitted any of those BPMs, because I tend to write when I'm just walking down the street, and the BPM that I write at is the speed that I walk, because that's my pace. It's like, okay, yeah, I'm walking and dump da dump da dump da dump, and then I'd start rapping in my head to the beat of my walking pace, which is nothing like any of the genres of music, which is maybe a disadvantage and an advantage, because it made something a bit original. Really well, yeah, he's fantastic. Very lucky to have found a replacement for Alex, because Alex was also amazing. But Joe has been learning from Alex and is kind of very much in the same mold in terms of drumming style. And he's also a pleasure to be on tour with, because he's always positive and always upbeat, so that's great. Patreon, yeah. So I started Patreon during COVID, actually, as a way to try and keep some income coming in, and then was doing live streams and things like that. And then since then, I don't have that many patrons. I've maybe got about 30. And it's just a really little tight-knit group of people that I have like Zoom hangouts with them sometimes, and just catch up and maybe play them some new tracks that I'm working on, or get their opinion on like mixes that I'm working on and seeing which ones they prefer. And then all of the singles from the album, I gave them to my patrons like way before they were released, just to like, again, see what they thought and just give them some kind of exclusive material. So yeah, it's been really nice. It's just a kind of small community of hardcore fans that want to support me a bit, and then I can bounce ideas off them and give them whatever I can think of to give them. Yeah. Oh my God, that's a long conversation. I think we need a separate interview for that. I mean, I love it and I'm terrified of it, but I'm quite obsessed with it. I'm a very techie, geeky guy. I studied multimedia technology at uni in Leeds, actually, just literally round the corner at Leeds Met. So it's funny being back here. I haven't been back here really since uni, and I'm sat on the corner of the street that I would walk home every single time I went out on the Lash. AI. I mean, if you're talking about AI and music and what its impact on music, I'm not concerned about that. Like, it will replace a lot of generic music. So anyone who needs generic music for background of a movie or background of this, or it's going to put a lot of those types of musicians out of business, like people who do just custom made bits of music. But in terms of writing like a good song, you kind of need to have experiences and human emotions to actually write something that really connects with other people. I mean, you know, it's amazing what it can do, but yeah, I don't think it's going to replace a good songwriter anytime soon. It comes out on the 7th of April. If people want it before then they can come to a gig, because we're already selling it at the gigs. So we're only in the first week of the tour at the moment, and then we've got another 4 weeks maybe. We're touring until the end of April, basically, all over the country. Bristol's always fantastic. It's my hometown, so that's always super vibes. Totnes is always great. It's like a real mix of really young people and older people, and they always just scream so loud that you like can't hear for 2 days afterwards. Where else are we playing? London's always great. We're playing at Hootenanny in Brixton. Got a bunch of new places we're playing that we've not been before. Salisbury, Stroud, Guildford. So yeah, I don't know what to expect from them, but some of them have sold really well already, so I'm guessing they're going to be good. Oh my God, loads of things. I really, really struggle with the whole trying to define a genre for my music. It makes it very difficult to promote. Like, there is no Spotify playlist that I can pitch myself for. And when you get those drop downs where you have to submit a track, and it gives you like 500 genres from like, you know, the most obscure things, and I can't find anything that I can say, yeah, that's what genre I play. So yeah, I definitely feel like a music misfit. Go and check out my music on Spotify. If you just stick the Undercover Hippy into Google, it will spit out all of the things, I would imagine. And check out the rest of our tour dates on undercoverhippy.com. Buy some tickets. You can go and pre-order the album on CD or vinyl or download on my website as well. And yeah, I hope we'll see some of you at a gig.